The Charlotte Hornets are one of the franchises in the NBA that are stuck in no man's land. They are over the salary cap, and they are good enough not to be one of the worst teams in the league, which means they're mostly going to pick late in the lottery and not get a blue chip prospect in the draft. They have already started to clean house by hiring Mitch Kupchak as the new GM and hired former Spurs assistant coach James Borrego as the new head coach. Anybody on this roster can be traded, and anything is possible. With the 11th pick in the draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Kevin Knox from the University of Kentucky. Finding a wing player who can shoot consistently from the outside has been a priority for the Hornets for a while. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is an excellent defender, but his lack of outside shooting hurts the Hornets' offense. Kevin Knox is an athletic 6'9" prospect who can be the answer to some of their problems. He proved at Kentucky that he can be a knockdown shooter at times and can only get better with time. He is tall and long enough to play both forward spots, which add to his value. Knox developed a nice one-dribble pull-up during his freshman year and has a nice floater once he gets in the paint. Creating off the dribble isn't something he's good at right now and might not ever be good in that area. But just being a good outside shooter who can get up and down the floor and finish at the rim is something the Hornets could use. The Los Angeles Clippers have back-to-back lottery picks at number 12 and 13. I believe the Clippers are trying to create as much flexibility as possible going forward. They could draft 2 players and keep them, or they could package both picks to try to acquire an all-star level player. DeAndre Jordan can become a free agent this summer, and I don't feel that Jerry West and the Clippers want to sign him to a long-term contract. They would rather sign and trade him and receive expiring contracts, young players, and/or draft picks. Point guard and center are positions of need for the Clippers. With the 12th pick in the draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Collin Sexton from the University of Alabama. You could argue that Sexton is the best point guard prospect in this draft. Getting him at 12 is an absolute steal. He's an ultra-aggressive shoot-first point guard who is the ultimate competitor. Sexton has the speed and quickness to constantly live in the paint and is athletic enough to finish around the rim. Plays with a lot of passion and can be a pesky defensive player. He's not much of a playmaker at this point and mostly looks for his shot. Becoming a more willing passer is something he will need to work on going forward. But Collin Sexton is the prospect that the Clippers would love to be able to select if he falls to this spot. With the 13th pick in the draft, the Los Angeles Clippers select Robert Williams from Texas A&M University. Like Miles Bridges, Williams came back for his sophomore season and didn't improve as a prospect statistically. But he could be the replacement to DeAndre Jordan whenever the Clippers decide to move on. Williams has elite athleticism and elite length with a wingspan of 7'4". He's a quick leaper and can run the floor with the best of them. He can never be relied on for consistent offense on a game-to-game basis. But playing with another big man at Texas A&M, who also occupied the paint, could have been the reason why Williams could never play up to his potential. But Williams is still raw offensively, but being a possible rim protector and a rim runner will be enough for the Clippers to select him in the lottery. The Denver Nuggets had a solid year as they fell 1 game short of making the playoffs. Everybody knows how good the Nuggets are offensively, but once again, it's the defense that is holding this team back. The Nuggets ranked at the bottom of the league in most of the defensive stats, but they were much better on defense when Paul Millsap was on the court. Unfortunately, due to injury, he wasn't on the court that much this past season. Nikola Jokic continued to grow towards being a superstar player in this league. And like most players from the 2016 draft, Jamal Murray had a bounce-back season from his rookie year and became more consistent. I thought last year the Nuggets should have got a player who was at least a good defender. I feel the same way this year. Hopefully the Nuggets don't draft and trade a player that ends up being one of the best rookies in the class. With the 14th pick in the draft, the Denver Nuggets select Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the University of Kentucky. After starting the season on the bench and under the radar, Gilgeous-Alexander finished his freshman year as one of the top point guard prospects in the draft. He's a legitimate two-way player, even without elite level speed and quickness. Shai is as patient as they come, no matter how much heat the defenders try to put on him. He is deceptively quick and changes speed to get the defender off balance and uses his near 7-foot wingspan to finish at the rim. He has great awareness and is a good playmaker and knows how to play the game the right way. Jamal Murray is an explosive scorer, but playmaking and defense is not his thing. That's where Gilgeous-Alexander comes in. The combination of Murray and Gilgeous-Alexander could be a dangerous point guard duo. You could argue that nobody had more of a roller coaster season than the Washington Wizards. Saying this team had locker room issues will be an understatement. Teammates took shots at each other over social media, and it became a big story in the league. There were actually people saying that this team was better without John Wall. After this season, we might get to see them without him for good. I'm sure that this team is open to trading anybody on the roster. When you finish with the 8th seed in the East, and you have one of the highest salaries in the NBA, all options have to be on the table. I believe a stretched big man is something the Wizards could use. With the 15th pick in the draft, the Washington Wizards select Jontay Porter from the University of Missouri. His stats from his freshman year may not jump out at you, but he could be a difference maker on the next level. Porter is a smooth shooting stretch big man who stands 6'11 and 240 pounds. John Wall and the Wizards haven't had the pleasure of playing with a stretch big man, and Porter's shooting would make a huge difference in the Wizards' offense. Defenses will have to pick their poison with Jontay and John Wall in the pick and roll. Porter isn't a great athlete, but despite that, he was an effective rim protector in college as he averaged over 2 blocks a game in just under 25 minutes. He's a good passer and has good footwork in the paint and has developed a nice jump hook. Having a big who can shoot, pass, and protect the rim will be ideal for any team, especially the Wizards.